Who would have thought back, say, in the 1980s, that Newport's commercial fleet would be harvesting this fish? Thousands of tons of this fish. But then, who would have expected to find this product in every supermarket? The fish, once known as Pacific hake, has always been plentiful in our coastal waters. Plentiful, but nearly worthless to the shore-based fishing industry. The flesh is soft and contains an enzyme that makes it spoil quickly. But in the early 1990s, hake was transformed.
Pacific hake was known as a fairly bad quality product on the West Coast market during the 70s, early 80s. And actually the industry here petitioned the government to change the name to whiting. Trash fish hake turned into quality whiting.
Gil Sylvia is a fisheries economist for Oregon State University. He says the name change was just the beginning. New ways of processing the fish, new consumer products, even some innovative waste disposal, all created a surge of demand for what's now called Pacific whiting. And in the early 1990s, with some startup help from the state government, several onshore fish plants began to process all the whiting they could get.
In dollar terms, whiting right now is probably within the top 3 or 4 of all Oregon fisheries.
The boom began with the international demand for this, a multi-purpose raw fish product called surimi. Made from various kinds of fish, it's the main ingredient in many Asian-style foods, including imitation crab.
In fact, in Japan, there's over 500 products made from surimi.
Until recently, though, surimi could not be made from the very perishable whiting. But food scientists, including several from OSU, learned how to neutralize the troublesome enzyme, and whiting surimi finally took off in the Pacific Rim market. That development was duly noted by the Oregon fishing industry. Like many other trawl boat owners, Dave Smith converted the Lisa Melinda to fish for whiting.
And this shows the ocean floor, and this is fish going in the net right here.
He installed refrigerated seawater tanks down below to hold the fish for onshore delivery. But even under the best conditions, the catch must be delivered within hours of capture. A whiting run is a single-day trip. Once the fish are spotted, it's one long haul of the net, then back to the plant. Today's fish are about 30 miles offshore.
They're a fish that moves real fast. The boats all work together, basically keep track of the fish.
After a few hours of underwater towing, sensors on the net have indicated that it's full.
It should be right at 120,000 pounds. That's what the plant wanted today.
Many other species of ocean fish have been over-harvested. But that's a mistake which people in the whiting industry are determined not to repeat.
If our estimates of the stock size are accurate, we know that the amount that we harvest is conservative. We are not taking large amounts, and therefore right now, based on the biology we know, we do not feel that the resource is imperiled at all.
When the catch is brought ashore to plants like Arctic Alaska and Newport, it's processed immediately with state-of-the-art equipment. Each fish is mechanically measured. Then the fillets are removed, automatically custom sliced for maximum yield. They pass through the skinning machine and are washed and inspected. Then, still just minutes after leaving the boat, they're ground into a fine pulp. Several more stages of washing remove the fat and impurities from the minced fish, so that what's left is clean, high protein, and almost odorless and tasteless. And this is surimi. It's such versatile stuff that products as different as hot dogs and gummy bears can be made from it. A worker adds the enzyme inhibitor to each batch, and the surimi is packed and frozen.
Most of the whiting surimi is being purchased by the Koreans. Probably 70–80% of it goes to Korea. Another 10 to 15% stays here in the U.S., and maybe another 5 or 10% in Japan.
One of the U.S. buyers is a Salem, Oregon company, Japanese-owned Kyotaru. Today, the crab stick production line is making imitation crab legs in 3-inch portions. First, the whiting surimi is thawed and stirred back into a pulp. Then, the flavorings and other ingredients are added. Continuous sheets of the mixture pour onto a conveyor belt with a little crab color and roll into the oven. At the other end, and this continues 24 hours a day, the steaming sheets emerge, twisting into never-ending crab legs. It's not exactly the way Mother Nature makes them, but these are very popular. The legs will be steamed and frozen, then shipped to stores in Oregon, California, and Japan. New value-added products like these are good news for the whiting business, but here in Oregon, food products are just part of the story. Only about 20% of the harvested whiting ends up as surimi. The rest becomes waste, and the volume of waste is enormous, a potential big expense and environmental problem. But even this mess is a potential moneymaker. Just down the road from its surimi operation, Arctic Alaska turns some of its whiting waste into fish food for aquaculture farms. But perhaps the most imaginative use of the scrap fish is this: compost, a uniquely Oregon solution.
To integrate both forest byproducts, ocean products into one large pile and make them into a usable finished product is totally new. It's never been put in a bag before and actually marketed as a fish compost.
Near the inland timber town of Notai, Jim Thorpe and his brother make compost. They mix wood chips from local mills with whiting waste, which the coastal fish companies deliver free. They sell all of the clean-smelling, high-nitrogen product they can make, and at a premium price.
It won't burn plants. You could plant directly into it. You could add it as a plant food.
If there is a main problem for the whiting industry now, it may be that there are not enough operations like this. West Coast whiting plants sometimes have to slow production or even stop down because too much waste accumulates at the plant.
There have been times over the years that they've called us and said, we're willing to truck all the way from California to your farm because we can no longer take and dump in the landfills.
Fortunately, there's lots of potential for increased composting in coming years, perhaps even using some of that abundant leftover straw from our grass seed industry. Each year, the federal government decides how much whiting the shore-based industry can have, and people in the business would like to see the present allocation increase, because around here, Pacific whiting appears to be the fish of the future.
We've seen numbers as high as $100 million of potential income to the state from development of this industry over the next 5 years. So we're talking about something that's probably, if that continues, will be the #1 seafood industry in the state of Oregon.
And all this from a fish that only a few years ago was just hake.